Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Made to Order a la Orden. I'm Chef Z, and today we're making an awesome, traditional, and delicious dessert. We're making some arroz con leche, which is also known as rice pudding. Now, Easter is quickly approaching, and this is a dessert that is in heavy rotation during this time of year, and I really do hope that you guys enjoy. Now, with any other traditional recipe that you guys see on my channel, you guys already know that there are a ton of different ways of making it, and today I'm simply showing it to you my way and the way that my grandmother taught me, and I have all the ingredients listed for you guys right here. We're going to start off by adding some water into a large pot and then adding some cinnamon sticks. I love arroz con leche that is super cinnamony, so I do tend to add a little extra cinnamon sticks, but feel free to add however many cinnamon sticks you like. Then we're going to let that water come to a boil and we're going to add the rice. Now before you add your rice, be sure to wash it a few times, and I washed my rice about 2 to 3 times. And after you add the rice, be sure to give it a good stir. I'm going to tell you guys right now, arroz con leche is somewhat of a tricky dish to make because you have to stir it constantly. And you have to stir it constantly because you want to be sure that the rice never sticks to the bottom of the pot. So you want to be sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot during this stage and in later stages when we're actually sweetening it. So once that water comes to a boil, give it another good stir, and what we're doing here is we're essentially softening our rice. Now, unlike regular white rice, where we do want a little bit of con, which is that crunchy goodness at the bottom of the pot, that's exactly what we want to avoid whenever we're making a rice pudding. So again, stir it constantly, and what I'm looking for here is for my rice to reach a desired softness, because the worst thing you can do aside from the rice sticking to the bottom is having hard, crunchy rice in your rice pudding. It just doesn't taste good, and it just feels kind of awkward and weird whenever you're eating it. So once the rice is nice and done, we're then going to add the milks. Now, I only use evaporated milks, but you can use a variety of different milks, and you can even mix milks. Then we're going to add some cloves, and the cloves complement the cinnamon really well. And then we're going to add some vanilla extract. I typically use Dominican vanilla, but today I'm using regular vanilla. And we're also going to add a lime wedge and a little bit of salt. Now that little bit of salt is really going to bring together all of these flavors, and it's going to balance everything out, especially the sugar. So we're going to give that a good mix, and then we're going to let that come to a simmer. And be sure that you're cooking your rice pudding on a low to medium flame, and just to be safe, I typically cook this on a low flame. So once that comes to a simmer, we're then going to add the sugar. Now guys, I'll be honest, I don't have a sweet tooth, so my rice pudding is not bland, but it's also not really sweet. But again, you can sweeten this to however you see fit. And once you add the sugar, you just want to give that a good mix. And if ever there's a time that you want to be sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot, it's right now, because sugar does tend to caramelize whenever you're heating it up. And once you add the sugar and you mix it all in, now you just want to thicken your rice pudding to your taste. So there are some people who like their rice pudding on the runny side, and there are other people who like it on the thick side. I'm one of those people that likes it on the thick side. So what I'm doing here is that I'm just checking to make sure that it's the kind of thickness that I like. And once it gets as thick as I like, I then add the butter. And this step is optional, but I like to add the butter because it just gives it a nice velvety texture at the very end. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I love arroz con leche that is super cinnamony, so at the very end, I do sprinkle a little extra cinnamon just to really boost up that cinnamon flavor. And I give that one final mix. Now, there are 2 different ways to eating arroz con leche. You can either have it cold or you can have it warm, and it's always a huge fun debate. I'm personally one of those people who likes it warm. Let me know down in the comment section how you like your arroz con leche. I hope you guys enjoyed my recipe to making an arroz con leche, which is also a rice pudding. And this is a dessert that I have every single year around Easter because it seriously reminds me of my grandmother. Now remember, with this dish and pretty much any dish that you see on my channel, you can always tweak it to your likings. And I really want you guys to know that because a lot of these dishes that I make are traditional dishes, and there's a ton of different ways of making them. Now, if you guys have any questions on this recipe, visit my website, chefzcooks.com, or or see the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on social media. And like always, all of my information is listed for you right here. Until next time, I'm Chef Z y buen provecho.